Hey guys, this episode is brought to you by us. This Commerce Life is Canada's longest running food and beverage commerce podcast. We're 460 episodes, 8 years and counting. But we're more than a podcast. We coach Canadian brands to get retail ready. We teach them to pitch better, grow smarter. Through one-on-one coaching, national workshops, and warm introductions to buyers and distributors across the country. If you know a brand that needs a better shot, send them our way. Visit www.thiscommercelife.com or just forward this episode. Now, let's get to the podcast.
Hey, welcome to This Commerce Life, an unscripted podcast that focuses on the stories behind small and independent Canadian retail and Canadian CPG.
What we try and do is deliver or pull out the story of our guests and give them to you. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly of retail and CPG in Canada. We're filling a need because we think that retail is hard on the best of days, but it's also a wonderful, wonderful place to grow up and make your living.
We also think that the industry, nor the people that inadvertently find themselves in the industry, really understand the industry at all. They don't really understand what goes on behind the scenes.
So listen to us, Phil and Kenny. We'll unravel it for you. We'll give you the story. We'll give you the story behind the story.
Hey. And then I thought we could do a couple of things. Like I thought we can kind of talk about, we put out a couple of things on future of food, but we didn't really talk about it. We also haven't talked about kind of the new way we're talking about this commerce life either. So in my head, I had those things as things I wanted to kind of cover. I don't know what's kind of rattling around in your brain a little bit.
In my brain, not much. Pretty quiet up there, baby. Pretty quiet.
How do you feel about the way we're going about? Because sometimes our process is a little weird, right? Because I think of it and then I start it and then you kind of jump on the train and go, right? Like we talk about stuff and then
I think it's definitely easier for me that way. I don't know if it's easier for you, but I definitely think, because I think sometimes what it is the ideas come from a lot of times from the organization of the ideas is probably going to be from your brain for sure.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, it's just a lot easier to do an edit than it is to do whatever you're doing. And then honestly, you think differently like you can think in that curriculum teacher shit that I don't know, man, just frustrates the hell out of me. Like seriously,
You're a teacher
whatever.
though. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? All the shit we do
You're
is,
definitely a teacher.
oh yeah, I'm a teacher, my ass. What are you talking, teacher?
If you're listening to this, wander into this conversation. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I'm a teacher.
What?
We try to tell people cool things, right?
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I think you definitely teach better than I teach. I just talk, right? I mean, that's what people even say. Like, I'll just talk. I like,
Yeah.
just, I don't know. I sometimes I like the fact that when people ask us things, we just answer, we can just go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to be like a formal, educational process. I like the fact that most of what we do is just very formal, but informal. And I like the fact that we're teaching, but it's not so much teaching. Sometimes it's just a discussion or a chat or whatever you want to call it. Like just good discourse so that you ideally, instead of just disseminating information, they could take it, do whatever you want with it. But at least we have that ability to converse and, I don't know, do some cool stuff with it.
I feel like we're pretty. Yeah. See, I have a different take on that. I feel like we're pretty formalized with some of the things we're doing. We're building out curriculum.
Oh my God, we're way more formalized than we've ever been.
Yeah.
And I think it's finally a lot of it down on paper or our ideas. But again, that's teaching. That's not me. That's you. I just go for the ride.
I think if you're tuning in, this is just it's Kenny and me and we haven't.
And Phil trying to make me a teacher, which I don't understand, but that's okay.
I've already made you a teacher. News for you.
Mm.
Yeah, it definitely made you a teacher if you didn't know it. So there's pro headshots now. There's
Oh, fantastic.
curriculum. There's, 3 accelerators under your belt. So you're a teacher.
I am a
Sorry.
teacher.
Sorry, not sorry. There's a really old picture of you teaching for the first time at Global Pet in Florida.
I remember that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So you're definitely a teacher.
Mm.
Anyway, we're the two of us thought we'd jump on and just chat because we have been running around doing a ton of things and then not really spent any time thinking about or talking to each other. I think about this. So we thought we'd hook up with you guys and we've done. Sorry, I'm a little scrambly. I'm thinking about some things. So one is, I guess, if you haven't been to the website in a little bit, we've done some work to change the way we talk about who we are.
I like it now. I really do.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it looks finally a little bit more grown up,
yeah, yeah. And then
right?
we've done some thinking about who we are, right? Because there's some bits in there that we have. We've always been a podcast first, but in fact, I don't. I think that we were always education wrapped up in a podcast, not the other way around, right? So we always thought we did a podcast and then we did education because of the podcast. But in fact, we do education that used to come in the form of a podcast, or still does come in the form of a
Still does. I think at the
podcast.
beginning though, it
Yeah.
was what we started with, I think is what it was. I think it was just not it was just, but it was just a podcast. I mean, we just
Yeah.
sat and talked. Yeah, you could learn some things
Yeah.
from it, but
Yeah.
it wasn't the primary force. I think
Yeah.
once we started getting more and more guests on, I think I think a lot of it is because I think we started learning so much. Right. And honestly, like, it changed how I did a lot of business things or how I looked at things.
Yeah.
Something actually we're learning stuff from it. So
Yeah.
it is a teachable vehicle,
Yeah.
not necessarily via you and I, but via who we have on and
Yeah.
maybe the questions we ask, or maybe just how they talk and what they talk
Yeah.
about, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool, right? Because
Yeah.
there's not a lot out there. Or
It's
there's
hard
not
to
a, do
find.
it this way.
It's hard to
There's a
find.
lot out there's not a lot
Yeah.
free out there.
Yeah.
Like
And
the
then I
podcast is a
think,
free medium. I mean,
yeah.
we don't,
Yeah.
wherever you download your favorite podcast,
Yeah.
it's
It's
that. You
actually
can get some really cool stuff.
the podcast part is actually it's funny not funny because everyone wonders what it costs, right? Like whenever we partner with somebody, the first thing they ask is like, what does it cost? What is it? And our answer is always the same, which is it doesn't cost anything to be on the podcast. Like in
No,
fact,
that's the
you
purpose
know,
of it.
the more we do this, the more we realize that this is for Canadians. Whether you're on the entrepreneur side and you're trying to get a story out, or whether you're a Canadian and you're trying to figure out what Canadian made brands are out there, that's what the podcast is for.
Right. I think if it even helps you understand, like when you're in a store, let's say you're not in the industry,
Yeah.
but you're in a store, if you do listen to this podcast
Yeah.
periodically, that it's like, do you understand like the complications, the
Yeah.
trials and tribulations to
Yeah.
get it to a shelf? And then the cool things when it actually hits a shelf. Like if you listen to sometimes what it is, you don't realize it's not that easy. So when you actually do put it in your basket, it's a big deal to get that far down the road. I mean, I know it seems like nothing. What do? You make something, someone buys it, goes on shelf, someone buys it from there, and you repeat.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it just seems to be such a complicated industry for nothing. So I do hope that not very mind just for the entrepreneurs or people like us, but I think people who just shop might get a different
Yeah.
appreciation of what this
Yeah.
game it really is or
Yeah.
how it runs.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense or not, but you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it does. I think it does. And I think from, where where we've started to go with this is if you do go to the website now, what you'll see is we've pivoted a little bit to what we think is the true kind of purpose of what we do, right? We're retail educators in a lot of ways, right? So we teach brands, retailers, folks in this industry how to be better, how to make money at this. you know,
Will
how
set you
to.
up for hopefully future success. I mean,
Hmm.
once you get large enough, there's probably people way smarter than you and I that can take people to different levels. But I think what we do, what we're our like, I think this is what we try to do is I try to give you a fighting chance.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
if you're going to do this, at least set yourself up. Failure is inevitable for lots of things in life. Life is not all about successes. There's
Yeah.
failures in life, big deal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
hopefully, what we can do is help you mitigate either the absolute failure or how much you fail or whatever it is. And ideally, learning this is that success is going to be in the cards because
Yeah.
it's a tough game, as you know. It's not easy. And I hate to say it, most brands don't succeed. They just don't. It's a numbers game, right? I mean,
It is true. It is true. And
it's
I
what
think
it
I
is,
think
right?
we. So anyway, like I think that if you haven't been there, you should go by and look now. We are a lot more zeroed in on
I think
education.
so.
We're trying to get to. We work with a bunch of really great partners in food associations and things like that. But I think if you're if you're one of those guys, we'd love to talk to you about how we teach. Or if you're a broker or distributor and you find brands that just aren't ready for you, we'd love to talk to you, or we'd love to you to send them our way as well. We would love that. But
See, I think that's one of the ones that's
yeah.
sometimes the larger miss. See, this is my 2 cents now because now we're going to yap about this. Somebody's will yap about it, right? But you know what I when people get to, like, and I'm not knocking the distributors or the brokers. You can't take on um, cool ideas with no business sense, or cool ideas when conceptually it sounds cool, but really the way it's set up is never going to work. Like you
Mm-hmm.
can't blame them. But at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, if those people had a chance, and what it doesn't have to be just you and I, there's so many people in this industry, but if they talk to people like you and I, it might be those things that listen, this is how you sort of set it up so those people will eventually talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the stuff you need to do. This is how your
Mm-hmm.
margins need to be set. This is how your costs need to be set. This is what your retail is going to be. This is how you're going to go to market. This is if you go to this market, what you need.
Mm-hmm.
If you go to this one,
Mm-hmm.
just those learning things
Mm-hmm.
that just make life so much easier to understand this freaking world of retail and CPG, right?
Yeah, you're not
I think
wrong.
we could help a lot
You're
more
not
brands. I
wrong.
wish distributors and brokers would throw more people at us, especially because I know a lot of them will say they're not ready. That's great, but
Well,
then help them get ready.
so Kenny and
Not
I
you
laugh about this a
specifically,
lot,
guys,
right?
but
Is we're pretty smart at what we do. We're also dummies, right? And
oh,
it's taken us a long time. Like, so if you're ever interested, there's a YouTube series. I kind of talk about branding and what we had to do. We had to hire somebody from outside to help us. We actually talk about this a lot when we teach, but it's the lesson for you, right? Is that it applies to everybody, including us, right? Is we hired someone who asked us questions that we couldn't answer. Why do you guys talk about it? What do you guys mean when you say that? And we kind of go, what do you mean? What do we
what do you
mean?
mean? What do
Like,
you mean?
we like how can you not understand that? But the truth is, it's because
Yeah,
we're idiots, and it took us a while to figure out how to do that, right?
yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
because I think it's like everything in life. You just get buried into your own space.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That you
yeah,
know what I mean. You think that everybody understands you when they don't, or you think that nobody understands you when they do. You're the only one that's
yeah,
going through this when you're not. Well, you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
that. It's. I think if there's one thing that really this podcast has done, like even for me, is I think it's even more amplified that you're not alone. Two, none of your problems are unique, and three, like it's actually kind of cool to bring people onto the boat with you.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of room, and you know what? There's so many things you can learn if you just stretch your community a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
as bizarre as it is, like it's a highly competitive community that talks way too much to each other, which is
That
awesome.
it is
It's
amazing. Like this
crazy.
community continues to talk to each other, which I love
It's
a
awesome.
lot. Yeah, I love it a lot. Yeah,
It is. It's
yeah.
just really cool, right? And people are rude, like competitive brands. Clearly, everybody wants to win, but people aren't scared to like have other people win. I think maybe it's even the younger peeps is that the competition is okay. Being alone in a category sounds cool until you're alone. it's kind of nice having people with you, a little
You need some
competition. I
shared
think it's good.
experience. You really do. You need some
Yeah,
shared
I think
experience.
so.
You need some people to cheer you on. Like often Kenny and I will talk about that is, why this works for us too, right? Is there's two of us, right? So when one of us
Yeah.
isn't feeling it, the other one's supposed to, every now and then. Like last night we were both like, hey, we got to do stuff. And both of us
No,
like,
I didn't feel like
nah,
doing
I'm
nothing
fucking
yesterday.
done. I want to go to bed. I don't
No,
want to do
yesterday I
this.
couldn't give two shits. I was
Yeah,
done.
so that happens too.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it is about one of us picking up where the other one doesn't want to go,
Yeah.
and push, right? So yeah,
But I
yeah,
think that's one thing that's if it sometimes if that's the one thing I really like to sort of instill in people, and this is why we do push people to, like the BC Food and Bevs or, Canadian Health Foods Association. Like, I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I think any of those sort of organizations where you can just, you go there and you learn pretty fast. Okay, shit, I'm not alone. Because honestly, it's kind of lonely otherwise. It really is a lonely, like, being
It's
an
tough.
entrepreneur
It's
can
it's
be pretty
not
lonely, right?
easy. Yeah, it's not
Well, and
easy.
most of your friends, if they're
Yeah,
not, like, nobody gets what you
yeah,
do or why you do it. And
yeah.
if anything, people actually question your mental stability because, I mean, you got to be kind of nuts to do this. So it's kind of nice to
It
have
is.
people around
It
that,
can be a
sort
little
of get
nuts.
it. So like,
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I really think sometimes the miss for a lot of people is that join things, right? Or, like if you got
yeah,
a cool brand and you're scared to talk about it, you ping some like
yeah,
us that I assume we're relatively easy to talk to. Is come
yeah.
on a
We can
podcast and
be.
just put yourself out there a little
Yeah,
bit. You don't have to go mental. Like,
yeah,
we're
yeah,
not
yeah,
talking, we're not
yeah.
the Globe and Mail or anything.
No.
We're kind of small. We got a cool little niche,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
talk about
yeah.
what you're doing. Why not?
We are not small. That's the weird thing about this.
I'd always think we are. I don't like thinking we're big.
I like so I did run number and like this is not a brag,
I
right? I
still don't
just
understand you. I don't know if that's true. We
but
don't know if these numbers are true, people. Phil says these. I don't know.
we know these numbers are true. They're
I
actually
don't.
not reported by us, right? So we're number 11, number anywhere from, kind of like 10 to 15. We got 15,000 downloads in the last 7 days. That's
I
kind of
don't get that.
crazy. It's kind of crazy. Yeah.
Maybe it's a bot.
No, yeah, there's going to be
I don't
some.
think so.
There are
What,
always going to
even
be
a bot? Why would a
some.
bot want to listen to us?
I don't
Come
know.
on.
I don't know. 324,000 downloads last year.
I
Like
don't get it.
that is no joke. That is no
Yeah,
joke.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, I
No.
appreciate it. It's lovely, but I don't get it. I still don't understand. I still don't understand the space we're in.
I love it. I love it.
I mean,
I
I
love
still
it.
just like it because I think more times than not, it's like talking to you, and I just like the guests we have
Yeah.
on,
Yeah.
right?
I
You forget that there's, yeah, I don't know. I still don't believe it.
so on this branding stuff, I think, we've kind of come out the other side. There's a couple of recordings. I'll be doing some more on branding, how we got there, what our partners did. I'll bring Kevin, our partner, who helped us with the marketing bits, so that you can kind of hear his perspective as well.
That'd be
So
cool.
we'll talk to him about it. I think the piece that is interesting. So a little bit about where we go from here is you're gonna see us do a few things. So one is we are looking at like the calendar for this year. There's a couple of really interesting things. There's a show that I think we just decided we're gonna do. We've been looking at it for a while. It's called Expo Antad Alimentaria in Mexico, and it's in Guadalajara. So we're gonna be there. It's May 19th to the 22nd. We'll probably be there the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st. It's in Guadalajara. Pretty excited to do that.
I'm
We
actually kind
have
of excited. I'm really excited to do this one.
yeah, yeah. Like I know just enough to be dangerous about the market in Mexico. And so we're gonna go down there and do this show, kind of see what the Mexicans see, but then also spend some time with a distributor, a couple of distributors, I think, and then a whole bunch of field. Kind of like looking at all the different retail chains, the central market, which is a totally different model from what we have up here, central market, and a bunch of those things that we want to do so that we can help you guys, right? Because we we are definitely looking at other markets.
Well, if we're
And
looking for,
so,
if Mexico appears like, I mean, it doesn't appear. We know that
yeah,
Mexicans and Canadians do want to work more closely together. There's
yep,
definitively, good play in there. We can't disregard that the States is still huge. They're
yep,
still going to do trade with the States. But,
yep,
as two Canadians, we're trying to do what I think the rest of Canada is trying to do is we can't just rely on the one partner. Like we have
yeah,
to do other.
yeah.
And I don't know if we've ever looked at Mexico outside as a holiday. To be honest with you, like if you look at it from a real thing, I don't think we think of it even in CPG, never mind as Canadians, is that Mexico's a destination for holiday, as opposed to why isn't it a destination for more business with us? We have a good trade relations with them. They've got a lot of people. They've got Mexico City is the size of Canada. By the time you take in the entire Mexico City, it's massive. There's close to 40 million people
Yeah,
down there.
40 million people in a very
Seriously,
small
that's
stretch of
that's the
space,
country.
right? So, yeah,
So when
yeah.
you look at it, I mean, there's got to be opportunities that we should be able to look at, which is why we're going to the show because really, I mean, moving boxes is moving boxes, retail is retail, but there's always nuances, cultural
Listen,
nuances, or
there's a lot, right? Because this market, so many people in such a small space, like even things that we know we don't know, right? You think about Walmart, you know, a lot of our listeners would go, "Oh, I'm not going to Walmart," but the
might be different
truth
down there.
is, when you go down there, Walmart is not the same, right? Like they've got local markets, they've got small formats, they've got the big boxes that we know. There's a lot of different markets. Like Walmart is a different format down there. So, you
Well, but
know,
even Walmart's
you
a
know,
different format in the States. Not
yeah,
every Walmart's
correct,
150,000 square
correct.
feet.
Yeah, yeah,
There
yeah.
are 50,000
Yeah.
square foot neighborhood type
Yeah,
Walmarts,
yeah. Which we don't
right?
have.
So,
So as a
no,
Canadian retail person, you might not know that, right? But if you've
right.
kind of worked with Walmart in the ecosystem and you know their global markets, it's something you should
Yeah.
unlock because then South America opens
Or
for
at
you
least
as well.
understand. Maybe you
Yeah.
still don't want to go there. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
really care.
Correct,
Do
correct,
whatever you
correct,
want
correct.
to do, but
Yeah, yeah.
at least you learn a little bit
Yeah.
about it.
And then all those traditional kind of mercados, right? Like the traditional markets down
Right.
there. We don't, especially if you're fresh or you're kind of like everyday goods. It's a market that we don't, we would equate those to farmers markets, but that's not
Right.
actually what they are, right? Is they're actually markets where people buy stuff every day, right? Like they are organized by neighborhood, they move around, but you got to be part of those if you're going to be able to sell stuff, right?
And it's
So,
funny though, Phil, but if you look at that, that's not much different a lot of times of what Europe does.
yep,
It's very much
correct.
that old
Yeah,
school mentality. I mean,
yeah.
the one we always, the typical Parisian picture you have in your head is, and it's always the same, but that you can put any age in, but it's typically someone our age is man, woman, you get dressed up to go buy the loaf of bread. But it's within the
Do you
marketplace and
have
you're
in
buying
that vision, do you
things.
have a beret on? Or I
I
feel
think
like
you
you have a
have to.
beret on,
Well, I think you
maybe
have to.
the suspenders.
I don't know about the suspenders, definitely beret, probably a scarf.
Okay, okay,
Well, because you want to look good when you're buying your
okay,
bread, right? Why
okay.
buy a baguette looking like the
Listen,
way
we
we
make it to
normally do?
CL this year. We'll have to make sure that Kenny gets a beret and a scarf on.
Oh, I can do that.
Maybe we'll make a This Commerce Life beret and a This Commerce
Okay,
Life
well, we
scarf.
don't want to brand it. I mean, that makes it look stupid. Come on. Jeez Louise. But I think there's stuff like that. Is
Yeah.
seriously, like it's sort of that mentality. Not every country goes to mass stores. Like even when I used to go to China, like there was
Oh my gosh.
markets, outside markets that were a mile long, kilometer long of just everyday things, and it was a perpetual market to some degree. But maybe some of the vendors change periodically, but it was just kind of cool, different, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not
Yeah.
what we're used to, but still kind of cool.
Yeah, I know. So we're thinking about that. We're probably going to do Expo Antad. There's CHFA East. The other one, I guess, we're looking at is SIAL
I'd like to do
in
Seattle again. I
Paris.
haven't been there in years.
Yeah, so last year we went to Anuga in
Anuga.
Germany. SIAL is the other one. So these guys run back to back. So every other year SIAL runs, and then every other year Anuga runs. But SIAL would be one that we want to do.
I think
And
it'd be
again,
good.
all with the same kind of ideas, right? Is that we would go try and track down some market knowledge. So what we do with Mexico, we'd love to be able to do in France as well. So you get a sense of what the French market is like, what
Yeah.
partners look like, what retailers look like
Or
there,
what Europe looks like at that point,
or what
not just
Europe looks
specifically
like. Yeah,
France, right?
yeah, yeah. And then, be able to bring you a little more education that allows you also to expand, whether it's within Canada or outside of Canada. So
Yeah.
all kind of education bents, if you will. So
I don't
yeah.
know. I think it's kind of cool. I mean, again, I think this last year we've been forced to look at different marketplaces, different ideas, different places of trade, and I think it's all time. It's good.
Yeah.
Let's
Well,
go.
and I think for us, it's really good because it allows us to really think about like what, because it's one thing to figure out how to grow in country, but the reality also is, brands want to grow, right? Like, and so you come across the country, you get 6 million people in Toronto in particular, 10 million in the province ish, right? 10 million ish. And then you've got to go all the way over to the east to get another 2.5, 3 million people out of 4 cities or so. So there's kind of like, I'm sorry, I've left out Montreal, but
And
there's
you really
Quebec in the middle
shortchanged
as well.
Ontario. I think you guys are closer to 16 or 18 million, not
Are
10.
we?
Yeah.
I don't actually know.
I think BC, Alberta, I think every province and territory, less Quebec,
Oh, you're right, 16
isn't
million.
as big as Ontario.
Look at you and your population numbers.
I told you, man.
Yeah, 16 million. 16
Right?
million.
So I think if you had BC, Alberta, Mansask, Maritimes, the Rock, and the territories, I just don't think we're as
Yeah.
large as Ontario.
And then Quebec
So
is 9.
Quebec and there were bigger, clearly.
Quebec is
But
9. Yeah.
yeah, so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, so I think we're on a bit of a learning path here. We are on a learning path. We're on a teaching path. So if you need something and you need to learn, you should come find us because we
Yeah.
teach you for sure. And then the other one that I think we want to do this year is Basin. We really enjoyed ourselves at Basin last year.
That's the Columbia Basin Trust that
Columbia
does
Basin Trust. Those guys
a
are
show in the
rocking
East
it.
and West Kootenays.
Yeah, yeah, love
Anything around the
it.
Columbia Basin, the River Basin.
Yeah, love it, love it, love
Oh, I
it.
love that. That was fun.
That was really fun.
That was really fun.
Yeah, and we left there, just
That was really fun.
jazzed.
It also shows you how much cool stuff comes out of the Kootenays,
Yeah,
right? I mean, I don't know, that was pretty cool. Like, even
yeah,
I was surprised.
it was
That
pretty
was pretty
fun.
cool.
It was pretty fun. Yeah, yeah. That's so that's I thought it'd be interesting for us to check in and just one tell you what's going on with us because we are changing things up a little bit and then we are picking up a lot more. I think the other part of the learning bit is where we have partnerships. So we have a very strong partnership with BC Food and Bev, right?
Yeah.
And so we teach a lot in conjunction with BC Food and Bev, and we'll keep doing that. I think kind of heading east, Ontario and the Maritimes, in particular, is if you need kind of retail fundamentals training, we'll be knocking on some doors just to assemble some 2-day classes and things like that to help you out. Things that we're going to do just on our own because we think enough brands need this that we're going to try and do that.
And hopefully be able to do it reasonably.
Yeah. Yeah. If you are listening to this and you're in Newfoundland, we both have a particular affinity for Newfoundland. So we are actively building a class out there. So reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to
Yeah.
try and get you into the class if we could. That would be amazing. That would be,
Want to do more work in Alberta?
yeah, we
Love to
I
do more
skipped
with
over
Manitoba, Mansask.
Alberta and Mansask because like with Mansask with Manitoba Food and Bev, we are trying to work some things out so that we can teach on their behalf. And then we've talked to Alberta a lot. So Bianca and Melody, we love them a lot. So we'll see where those work out to. Yeah, the rest of the country we can do. So
Those are the fun ones. I like those incubator type ones,
yeah,
the ones where those
yeah.
companies ideation to about a mil,
Yep.
just trying
Yep.
to
Yep.
if see if we can help
Yeah. Yeah.
make
If
sure
you're
that,
if you're in that range, if you're say sub $1 million and you're trying to grow and scale and do some of that stuff, definitely come find us, because we would love to be able to help you. Those get us fired up a lot, and I think we could help you kind of move the business along.
I think there's a lot of stuff we can do. I think even if you're sort of an ideation, if you're just trying to get going,
Yep.
like you'd be amazed at just
Yep.
if you get the fundamentals right at the beginning, it honestly just makes the game easier,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Because
Agreed.
typically that, as you and I know, that what usually the hard part is that you didn't understand the game before you started to play, and then once you're playing, it's kind of late to
It's
learn.
hard. It's hard to
You can
change the
do it,
rules. Yeah.
but you're
Yeah.
better off to kind of, learn before you really maybe get too deep.
Yeah. 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 I think
Anyway, it's
so.
all cool.
I think so. Yeah. So anyway, we thought we'd give you an update. We kind of been head down a little bit, working hard, trying to get all this
We're
stuff
trying to.
going. But I think if you're listening to this and we fit in your world somewhere, come find us. We
Yeah, let
would
us know.
love to talk to you and see what we can do to help. So
Right.
yeah. Okay. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening, everybody.